Hello everybody, Rainy Angel here. So today I wanted to talk about an out-of-body experience that I just had. And if you're wondering why I'm recording my voice right now, it's just simply because I don't feel like being on film. Today I decided to take a late afternoon nap. I started the method at 5:30 p.m. and I just woke up at 7 now. Basically what happened was I found myself in my dimensional space. Now when I originally went into doing this method, I wanted to access my true self and my soul and my power and everything. And also to see my angel. That didn't happen, but what did happen was something interesting. Was that basically went to do the method. Also I want to say before I even did this method, I did a mini meditation, probably for about 5 minutes, where I just sat up in my bed. I had my earplugs in and my blindfold, and I just sat up in my bed and just did some deep breathing. Sometimes I like to do that just because it helps me get into this meditative state where I just don't fall asleep right away, but I get to focus more on my intent of what I want to do. But yeah, after I laid down to do the method, it was probably a few minutes after I dozed off, stayed aware, did the whole thing. And it always starts with me looking through my mask, activating my soul eyes. And the way that I do this is that I just focus my eyes as if I'm looking at something very intently, and then my vision, my soul's vision just comes through. My soul's vision just comes right through the mask. The reason why I say it's interesting is because I wasn't in my room when I saw through my mask. And this has happened to me before, where I wake up in a different place. But this time I was a little more conscious than the other times. Still not super conscious. I definitely could have been more aware, but I was aware enough to the fact that I knew that I was in a dimensional space. And yeah, I knew everything that I was seeing. I knew what was going on. So I would look through my soul eyes, and it would be dark, and then I'd slowly just see right through the mask. And what I was looking at when I saw through the mask was I found myself in a hotel room. And I was looking up at a ceiling fan that was spinning. And I was in a hotel room because I recently went and stayed at a hotel just overnight with some friends. So it was that exact hotel room, except there were some differences. There was only one bed in the room rather than two. And when I was looking, I saw the ceiling fan, but when I would look right in front of me, there was a TV there, but there was a giant entertainment center. And in the real hotel room I was in, there was no entertainment center. It was just a table, a TV, whatever, very simple. There was just this giant old school entertainment center. And I know where I'm at. I know it's a dimensional space. And so I'm looking around the room, and I see to my right, the lights to the bathroom were on. And it was a sink area. There were sliding doors entering, and then there was a fridge. And then when you would go off, step in to the sink area, you go to the right, and there's a tiny room for the bathroom with the tub and all everything. Personally, I like hotels, but there is also a little fear of mine about hotels, only because when I was a kid, I used to watch a movie called The Shining, and I never liked the scene with the naked lady in the bathtub. That would always freak me out. And I was thinking to myself, oh gosh, is this the day where I face that fear of the naked lady coming out of the bathtub? Great. But then I also thought to myself, well, if I create that and I think about it, then it's going to happen. And I'm sitting there in the bed. I slowly just floated out into the left and headed towards the door. And yeah, it was, not the easiest thing to do because of the magnetic pull. So I just was kind of floating without much force. And then I fell back into my body. And then once again, I focused, and my soul eyes saw right through the mask. It happens every time. That's the first thing I do. Especially when I start to feel the sensation of floating with my arms, then I just look through the mask, and then I'm I'm seeing through my soul eyes. Anyways, this time I come out of the bed and I step forward and I'm in front of the bed. And this is when I surprised myself, but I was calling for the angel. I was like, angel, seraphim, angel, seraphim. Like I was saying it like at least 3 times. And then I was like, oh wow, I can actually talk right now. This is great. Like very, very audible, very strong voice. And I was calling, nothing. And then I just fell back into my body again. And I fell back into my body probably 5 times, not even gonna lie. Like I fell back into my body quite a few times. And I think the reason why I didn't see the seraphim is because I was just in my thoughts and in my dimensional space. They don't always come to me when I'm in my dimensional space. It's always when I'm just, there's no distractions. There's no distractions. And when I'm even more conscious. This time when I came out of my body, I veered off to the left, went out the door. I go outside and I see like the little walkway, and it's outside. I see the walkway, and there's like a railing with stairs, and we're probably on like the 3rd or 4th floor. The outside looked different from the actual hotel that I went to. So, and this time I was really not afraid of the heights or anything. I knew that I was able to simply float down or whatever. So I'm floating down the stairway, like sort of like crawl floating down the stairs. So I'm doing that. And then I felt like a cat. So I was like, well, maybe I can just manifest myself. I can shapeshift into a cat. And I tried doing that, but I just, I felt like I needed more focus. I wanted to be a black cat, sort of walking on the railing, which I was able to walk on the railing, but I just wasn't a black cat. I was trying to see like black paws and everything. But anyways, I was very cat-like. So then I found myself back into my body, and then this is where I started to see somebody and hear things. So I'm back into my body, and I focus, and I see through my soul eyes, and I'm sort of thinking about the lady in the bathtub again, and I'm like, shit, God, stop, you know what I mean? I'm like, stop, you're gonna create this happening, you're gonna whatever. And so then I started to hear the shower curtain moving, like ruffling around, like someone's coming out of the damn shower, and I'm like, God damn it. And then someone does come out of the bathroom, but it's not the lady, it's not. And I'm like, oh, thank God. And I'm just like, it's still weird though. Anyways, a man comes out of the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, I don't know who this guy is, and I feel like he's just a guy like a NPC or someone that I've just seen on the street or something I've just seen walking around in town. Like, I don't know who he is. But he was an African American guy, like very dark skinned with a white t-shirt and wearing like a gold chain and sort of like lean and, average height. And then he comes and walks over to the bed, and he sits down on the floor next to me, to the left of me, and is just looking at me. And I'm like, this is odd. Like, I've had an experience where my mom came in and she was just tucking me in and like patting me like in bed, and I could literally like feel her like tucking me in through the blankets and everything. It was very interesting, because this stuff is very real. When you think of these things, it feels real. And so this time, for some reason, I got out of the bed and I saw like an empty baby bottle on the floor, and I just thought to myself, is this gonna hurt? Like, so I grabbed a baby bottle and I started hitting myself in the head with it. Like, don't even ask me why. I just kind of felt like hitting myself in the head with a baby bottle just to feel, like, if I could feel the pain. And it actually hurt. I was like hitting myself, whacking myself in the head with it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stop. So, just to like, I don't even know. So then I left the room once again. And then I woke up. I woke up in my bed, in my room. But I didn't move. I didn't want to get up. I was like, well, let me just go back to sleep, because I want to go through the sleep paralysis. Because a lot of the times when I go through sleep paralysis, I'm like way more consciously aware. Like the realness of the experience is way more vivid when I go through sleep paralysis. So I'm waiting, and then I just kind of go doze in and out, and then I just fall asleep altogether. And then I just, like I said, I just woke up. So I just wanted to share this experience because these dimensional spaces are very real and they're created by your imagination. And a lot of the times they're created by your subconscious mind, and you don't even know why you're in these places. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Like I said, I feel like I was in that hotel room because it was like pretty much the same hotel room I was staying at last weekend with my friends. So and also what I wanted to tell you guys is anything that you think of will happen. Okay, like just how I was sitting here being paranoid about the lady in the bathtub, I started to hear the rustle of the shower curtain, and there's nothing to be afraid of. And if you want to change the outcome of something, you can. You just got to think of something else. All right, guys, so we're going to be going over these images because this is the exact same hotel that I stayed at in this exact room. I got the pictures off the website because I want you guys to get a good idea and image in your mind of what my dimensional space looked like. The only difference here with this room is that the blankets were not green. They were just all white. Now, in my dimensional space, there was a ceiling fan at the top. In the actual room, there is not. Another thing is that in the real room here, there's 2 beds, and in my dimensional space, there was only 1. And then here is where there are sliding doors that lead into the sink area and the bathroom, and there's the little fridge in the corner. So yeah, that's where I would look to the right, and I saw the lights were on. And, when you go more to the right, you step in and go to the right, that's where the bathtub is. And then here is the view from the bathroom area. And to even go into more detail about my dimensional space, the door leading to outside was not white. In my space, it was a dark brownish red color. Anywho, if you guys have had, an experience going into a dimensional space or whatever you guys want to share, go ahead and share in the comments. I just really like these OBEs to where I wake up and I'm in a different place. I don't know why. I think that's just so cool because it's like the thing is already manifested and it's just something different. Thank you everybody for listening, and you guys have a great night. Bye.